Hey, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of The Excellent Life. We have a special guest. His name's Ari, and he's going to be showing us about how to uncover a mask and all the masks that we're wearing. So, Ari, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, your background?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Ari Gronich. I'm known as the performance therapist. I really appreciate being here, by the way. So thank you very much for having me.
Mhm.
I've been a sports and injury rehabilitation therapist for 26 years, functional medicine consultant, energy healer, corporate wellness consultant, and industry keynote speaker. So I've been in the industry of healing for a long time.
That's awesome. So, what made you get into that? Is there any specific thing in your childhood that got you into that?
Yeah. So growing up, I was started having symptoms of a brain tumor when I was 7, although we didn't find the tumor until I was 24. But until then, I had been treated, mistreated, diagnosed, misdiagnosed um, for, since I was 12 years old. And I was kind of considered a medical mystery. Here at the same time, my parents were doing Amway. So I had a garage full of herbs and LOC and Sweet Shot and Amway products. And so I got into herbs very early,
Mhm.
herbology and alternative medicine, just as a fascinating study. So I was doing that while I was in high school. And when I was out of high school, I went on a whitewater rafting trip while I was taking a homeopathic remedy. Had a heat stroke, sunstroke, and allergic reaction to the homeopathic remedy. It was a snake venom,
Snake
and
venom?
yeah, that was the homeopathic remedy that the naturopath had given me, and I ended up basically dead in the hospital for 26 minutes before they brought me back. I said, I think I need to be a healer. And that's kind of started the journey. So I was 18 years old, just out of high school. I had already learned herbology and aromatherapy and those kinds of things, but it
Oh,
was a direct path from there.
that's crazy. I think that's absolutely incredible, though. You're able to go through something and you really want to help people because of your your past experiences. So that's absolutely incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, the thing about tragedy
Hmm.
is that it can do one of two things. It could stop you or it could propel you forward. And when you're born, and experience a lot of tragedy and trauma in your life, then, um, I had a choice. I could either do something productive with my experience, or I could do something destructive with it. And my parents always had a saying when I was growing up: "We want you to be a happy, healthy, productive member of society." That was their saying: happy, healthy, productive. Well, I had been, abused, raped, molested, um, bullied growing up, wasn't really going to be that happy, but I could be productive. And if I could be productive, then I can make a difference. And if I can make a difference, then maybe I could gain some of the resources that I would need to gain back those happy, healthy parts. So,
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's absolutely incredible to think about because for me, one of my experiences that was kind of tragic was in eighth grade. I was really skinny kid, and I got hit by a car when I was walking home from an orchestra concert, and I felt that kind of fear, that tragedy, and I thought like if my life ended that way, I would have regretted a lot of things. So I feel like after that moment, I definitely wanted to be able to be more productive in the way. Uh, and I wanted to find out how to make people's lives better. That I feel like that's one of the big driving factors for me to to create this podcast, The Excellent Life, to help people to live an excellent, happy, and blissful lifestyle. So I
yeah,
thought
absolutely.
that was, I don't know, that's just what it reminded me of. But all of us have been through tragedies, and I feel like as well as with tragedies, it kind of shows more of who you are. It kind of really propels you in forward to
Yeah.
whatever
Well,
you want to do. Yeah. And what would you say some of the masks that you see in a lot of your excuse me, in a lot of your clients?
well, really depends on the client. So
Mm,
let's go with corporate.
yeah.
So corporate culture, corporate wellness um, is not what corporations think that it is. And it's not really what the wellness industry has been pushing on them. So, not their fault. But the tragedy of the mask that the corporation wears is that they wear a mask of we are for our community. We are for our employees. We are for our employees' families. That's the mask that they wear. We're for the product that we sell. But the truth of that, the authentic truth of that at this point is corporations are for the investors, the people who hold stock, the people who hold, a monetary interest in the company. The employees are second tier to that. The community is second tier to that. The product that they produce is second tier to that. And so they're wearing a mask saying that they're one thing. And then they believe that they're that thing that they keep saying that they are. But really, if you look at what they do, they're not taking care of their employees properly or their families or their communities. You know, they're taking care of the bottom line of a shareholder. And that has destroyed true capitalism.
Yeah, most definitely. I think you make an amazing point because I do realize that, especially when I was working in corporate, I was working as a financial advisor, I had to pretend to be someone I wasn't. And I feel like that also triggered me into thinking like the whole imposter syndrome. I was someone who I wasn't, and I feel like I lied to myself so much that I believed it, right? And that kind of sucks because as someone who was like 21, wanting to be big, I already thought that I was already there. And I do realize from a lot of books and from a lot of studying that leadership comes from vulnerability as well. Because when some leader is vulnerable, they're able to connect more, as you said. You're able to lead the people who need the help the most. So I feel like just taking that mask off, people already like you more. People already just want to learn from you and follow your leadership 20 times more than when you're trying to be almighty and all cocky and stuff like that. So I think you make an amazing point. That's really relatable to me too.
Yeah, absolutely. The idea that people want to be in a relationship with your mask
Mhm.
is just ridiculous. Our divorce rate shows that. We wear the mask through the dating process, right?
Mhm.
The mask is on, the filters are on all the dating apps, but you see the humanity in somebody, the scar, the flaw, the whatever. Now the humanity is there, and you're like, okay, next we want that perfection again. We want that perfection again, right? You see it. It's not working. People are not happy. you know, they're not happy. They're not happy with their relationships. They're not happy with work. They're not happy with their lives. And the biggest mask of all is the mask of illusion that we are required to live in this mess and madness, and that we are um, powerless to shift it or change it. That's the biggest mask of all. That's the biggest illusion of all. Like, we made this stuff up. You don't,
Yeah.
well, let me first say, I'd like to say this about a completely different subject. And yeah, and then, and thank you, by the way, for asking that. And I still am never going to answer the question that I'm going to thank you for asking, because I'm going to talk about something else that I think is more important, because
Yeah, for
I
sure.
really just don't have an answer to that question.
Hmm.
Like, come on,
Interesting.
So why are humans falling for it? That's the question that I love asking. Tell me, why do you fall for it?
Me personally?
Yeah. What do you fall for and why? Have you ever analyzed what do I fall for? Like what ads make you go, I'm going to drool a little bit because I want to buy that thing that I'm watching the ad on, or, what things do you buy into that are pure and total imagination that we've created?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me as an athlete, as someone who wants to be better, I feel like a lot of the sports companies, they have these athlete shoes or the clothes, like Gymshark or whatever, and you're just trying to be like them as well, right? You have that image. And I
Right.
think
You
that's
wear Jordans and now you're putting on the Jordan mask, right?
exactly, yeah. Interesting. But I also have a question, like how does one really take off their mask? Like what are some practical ways that they can take off their masks to live an excellent life?
Yeah. So first you have to be willing to take off the mask with yourself
Hmm.
before you're ever going to fully be able to strip yourself naked in front of somebody else. So I just want to put that out there because it's important. You have to
Mm.
be willing to stare yourself in the eyeballs and find who you are in your eyes. Most people I've met can't even look in a mirror for other than this superficial, right? Can't look at a mirror, at themselves in a mirror, in their eyes without getting extremely anxious and uncomfortable. So I went through a pretty traumatic experience a couple years ago. And um, not to get into any details, but it was the beginning of separation and divorce. And I spent probably 300 plus hours in the last 2 years alone, let alone other points in my life, staring into a mirror, wailing and crying and bawling. And I would do that until I had nothing left. And then I would do it again the next day. And then I'd do it again the next day until I had nothing left. You know how uncomfortable that is? It's like first 5 minutes, you're like, oh, good, I got something out. I want to go away now. No, you got deeper to go. You got deeper to go. You got deeper to go. You got further to go.
I think those are such amazing questions that everyone needs to ask themselves. And it really will truly get them to know who they are, to reveal their true masks and take all of it off and just be naked. But I guess I do have one last question for you. And it's the question that I ask all of my friends, all of my guests. Because we're called the excellent life, what is one tip that you would give someone with all this knowledge, all this experience? What would you give someone to live an excellent, happy, and blissful lifestyle?
Well, I was gonna play on your excellent and tell you to make frittatas on a regular basis for your family because they always like that. It's happy times. Excellent. So if you want to lead an excellent life,
Hmm.
then you must stop everything you're doing that is not excellent.
Mm.
So this is the most difficult thing in the world. It's not difficult so much to pick up new habits. It may seem like it, but it's really not. We pick up smoking habit pretty easily. We pick up, you know, sex habit very easily. We could pick up sugar habit very easily. Habits are easy to pick up. They're really, really hard to put down. And so what are you doing in your life that is not excellent? Who are you hanging out with that is not excellent for you? Who are you hanging out with that is excellent for you? And how often are you doing that? Because we are, as many people have said over the years, the sum total of the top 5 people we hang about with. So we got to up our level of people we're going to hang out with. You know, we got to drop the victim, even if we are one. You don't drop being a victim, being somebody who is victimized. You drop the poor me about it, the energetic draw to get sympathy for it. That's not the same as empathy, and that's not the same as having somebody who needs you and you sitting with them and not trying to fix them and being okay being with them in their pain. That's not the same thing. But we tend to create victims out of ourselves in every situation, whether it's the guy who, you know, cut in front of me in a car. Hey, what is he doing to me? It's all about me, right? He's doing that to me. It's not that he's in a hurry, not that, may have an emergency, may have whatever is going on in their life, right? It's all about me. They shouldn't have done that to me. So we victimize ourselves with our thoughts. We got to get rid of that habit. The only way to get rid of that habit is to watch your thoughts. The only way to watch your thoughts is to stop and shh and listen. So, excellent life. Stop doing things that are not in your purpose. Make your purpose your life. Make your business your purpose, your life. Make your life your purpose, your business. Now you don't need balance anymore.
I love that.
Balance is a mistake. Seeking balance is a mistake. There is nowhere in life where balance occurs in any way, shape, or form other than on a teeter-totter, meaning back and forth, back and forth. We have a massive fire that clears the land, and then massive growth, and then massive fire. We don't have in nature, plants don't stop growing just because they feel like, hey, I'm 6 foot tall now. I'm good. Right.
Yeah.
They don't do that.
Okay.
So we need to stop this idea that we, can't teach an old dog new tricks, that we can't learn, that we can't grow. We need to create our purposeful life.
Yeah.
If everybody was living their purpose, would you want to go to work that day? Would you want to do what you're doing? Would you need money as an incentive, for instance? Not so much. I mean, money wasn't really an incentive for Bach or Beethoven or Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo or Benjamin Franklin. I mean, these are people who ruled the world. Thomas Edison, he didn't care about money. He was absolutely more than willing to spend all and everything he had and everything anybody else had in order to get that light bulb to work. Well, whatever happened to that? The only thing I could think of that ever happened to that is we started going to jobs and instead of living our passions. And our jobs became more mundane and more isolated. It wasn't, you're a shoemaker making every aspect of a shoe. It's, you're a shoemaker and you just make the sole, and I make the frame, and you make the insole, and somebody else, and usually it's a machine now. So why do we have to actually care about what we're doing? We can just go mundane into zombie mode and go onto the assembly line, and so we stopped living our purpose. Mm-hmm. And if you want to live an excellent life, And I like that excellent because an egg is the beginning of life, right? An egg is probably one of the most pure forms of food and nutrition too.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, it's the beginning of life. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, chicken can't come before an egg. Egg has to come first before the chicken egg, the chicken egg. It might have been, I don't know, part rooster, part something else. I mean, who knows what it was evolved from? But it was the egg. It was an excellent life. The egg is the beginning of birth. The egg is your idea. The egg is the egg is all those things that make what you're producing taste good, what you're creating taste good to you.
There we go. Yeah. The egg is the beginning. I love
It's
that
the
so much.
beginning.
I didn't think about that, but I love that so much. Yeah. And yeah, where can people find you? Where can people find your podcasts and get coaching from you and everything?
Yeah, absolutely. Create a New Tomorrow podcast, and that's available on Stitcher, Red Circle, Radio Public, Spotify, Google, all those things. My website is achievehealthusa.com. Createanewtomorrow.com is the podcast website. And you can find me anywhere at any social media, Ari Gronich, because I am the only one that I know of in the world.
That's awesome. Being individual.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you so much for sharing all this knowledge. Like, I feel like it's so important and everyone should know it.
Well, I appreciate you having me, and I look forward to hearing, how your audience responds and reacts. And, please, beyond just going to my show and listening to more stuff that I have to say, comment on this show, comment on The Excellent Life, and start a conversation, because to me that's the best part of doing these is the conversations and the things that come out of these conversations. So go check out The Excellent Life and comment and review and all that stuff for them.
All right. Appreciate it.